welcome to another edition of GamingNIght. Tonight I'm going to be listing off some games that you can be playing during this holiday season. So if you like board games, I'm going to start off with kind of go with the simpler games, kind of sort of, and then work my way to the more complex and vice versa here. So we'll start with Zombies, the special edition by Twilight and Creations. Zombies is basically a beer and pretzel type game where everyone's for themselves trying to escape by helicopter or by killing a certain amount of zombies. And you can also basically make the game scenario however you want. So it's a very flexible system where you can make your own scenario based games with it and run with it. The more expansions you have, the more players you have, it can range from a very short game to I've seen games run on for 3 hours plus. So that game can take quite a bit. If zombies is your thing, then Last Night on Earth by Flying Frog Productions is an excellent choice. If you're into the zombie theme, because of the fact that it captures the B-movie and all those horror zombie films very accurately, so it seems. Each scenario is different, and it has scaling difficulties, especially if you get the expansion like Survival of the Fittest or the Growing Hunger expansion. It adds a lot of flavor to it. Some scenarios will favor the zombie, some will favor the player. Sometimes it's depending on the cards and stuff, and events that partake in the game, but it's a very fun game. If you're I honestly think it's the best zombie game they have out there right now. Another one by Flying Frog Productions. If Aliens is your thing, Conquest of Planet Earth, it works both ways as a cooperative game where all the players are going against the board game itself, as aliens against the military and all them, or as a competitive game where you're trying to get victory points over your other players to be the one that actually takes over the Earth. So you're going to be competing with your monsters and using your special abilities to take over the Earth. But some characters have seem to be stronger in some areas and stuff. So it's kind of somewhat balanced, but I haven't really had much experience with it. But it seemed like some of the monsters are stronger in really some areas that seems like if you're not careful, you can get tossed around quite a bit. But it is a fun game though. Another game that's really light, easy to pick up, as I mentioned in my review of Elder Sign. It's if you like the mythos of Arkham Horror and stuff, but don't want a very deep, involving game, just want something to pick up and play really good, would be Elder Sign. They can hold up to 8 players. Also, another good one if you want a little meat to your game. It's different every time you play it, because there's 50 different scenarios. It's called Betrayal at the House on the Hill. It was reprinted again, so it's out available. There's 50 haunts. Each one's different, and it's based on what you do in the game that develops a haunt. So it's very theme driven. So you're going to be getting stuff like getting bitten by bats. It's completely random though, a lot of the stuff. So if randomness isn't your thing, then you might not like it. But I find it works very well in our group, and a lot of people I've introduced it to seem to like it quite a bit. The only thing that's hard about it is if you have someone that's not really good with board games and stuff, I don't recommend letting them be the trader. So if you ever have a new person playing with you guys that doesn't pick up things very well, then I wouldn't suggest the trader. Maybe trade places with them, because odds are if they're the trader, and they're not going to know how to play the game well, and what's going to happen is people are going to be bummed out because spoilers are going to get revealed. They're like, well, my character says I got to do this to win, and then it's spoiled, because the whole point of the game is one side will know a little bit of information, and the other side will know a little bit, and you're trying to deduce whoever's a betrayer what to do in the objective. So you each have hidden objectives that you need to do. So all you know is they're doing their thing and you're doing your thing. And so it's got a lot of replayability in that aspect. There's 50 of them. Even if you do played the scenario before, it's not bad because you may know one side, but you never played the other side. So, and then the fact where since the layout can be different every time, you're not always going to have the same items and stuff too. So it could be a rather quick game, or it can take a little longer. But I haven't seen it take longer than a couple of hours, maybe 3. Another light one that will work well with. It's very light, very easy to pick up. If you're familiar with Hot Potato, this game's called Hex XL by Smirk and Dagger, and it's basically a cutthroat version of Pass the Potato. Because you got a card you will be playing that will literally do lots of things, like it'll split the hex into 2, do double damage if it lands on somebody. You know, it's really very fast-paced, no downtime, because as soon as you pass the hex to one person, they immediately got to respawn, and it goes. Sometimes you have like 2 or 3 bouncing around, so whoever has it has to deal with it. So it's like there's just constant moving around until someone can't deal with it. It's a very quick, fun game, and there's adaptations to it. You can variation rules. You can add a lot of different things. You can make it, you know, you can change it to make it like a drinking game if you prefer it that way. You can make it like a competitive game where, you know, it's like you know, like if you lose this game, you have to like have one hand behind your back for the time. There's a lot of things you can do with the game. It's a lot of fun. Now for the deeper games, I'm gonna go into here. Arkham Horror. Yeah, that's the meaty game. If you don't mind 5 hours or around there, 3 to 5 hours, and don't mind reading and complex rules, then Arkham Horror definitely would be something you might want to bring to your table. More lighter version of that, but that game also takes a lot of time, is Mansions of Madness. It's very themed. You have a scenario, and the bad guy, one player plays the Cthulhu Mythos bad guys, and the other player plays the investigators, and you're basically trying to find out what's going on in the mansion and deal with it, because it's basically you're dealt with a situation, you don't know exactly what, and you got to find clues to find out how to deal with the situation, what you need to do. There's interactive puzzles where you physically have to get up and move, you know, do stuff like slider puzzles, like, and then stuff like that. Like it's really hard to explain, but it's a really cool game. And games that are not themed for horror that that I think would make good games for your group would be Say Anything. Say Anything basically is a good game to get to know your players, people, especially if you get a bunch of people that don't know each other. With Say Anything is a really good game, because basically everyone gets a dry erase board, and one person will be a card reader, so everyone will get a question. You basically look at your card and you pick a question to read out, and it'll be something like, what's the worst thing that could happen to you, and or what's your biggest fear, and everyone will write down what it is, and then a judge will pick one that he thinks that he would respond to the answer. So you're basically trying to figure out what that person you're writing the answer to, like, or a topic. So it'd be like, it's sort of like apples to apples, but you have a lot more choices. You basically write your own answer, so it's really cool. If that kind of thing isn't your thing and trivia is, and you have people that don't like trivia because they don't really know the answer to the questions, Wits and Wagers is an excellent choice, because you essentially get to answer a question by numeric value. The answers are really obtruse, so there's really no way no one's going to know the exact answer. It might be like how many steps are on in a particular building, and you just write down a number and you're trying to guess the number without going over. So you can bet on your answer, someone else's answer, take a wild guess, play the odds. You bet chips. It's kind of like a little bit of gambling, a little bit of trivia. It's a great selection. And also any of the Flux line are really good too. Like if you like Flux, those are really good because they're simple rules, but they get chaotic as you go along because you're basically adding new rules. So that's pretty much all I really have to say to this year. So I do recommend some games, board games this year that I think everyone would enjoy. At least you might find a couple on this list you enjoy, or there might be others. Also, maybe there are games you like to play over the holiday season, Halloween. So put your choices down below, and that'd be very beneficial for everyone else that's watching. Hey guys, this is just me, GamingNIght, wishing you guys a happy Halloween. I get back, that's why I just wanted to show you guys before I left for the party. So you guys have a great night, and see you soon. Bye.